Once upon a time, promoters were able to manipulate whom the fans cheered for and whom they booed. Throw out an evil foreigner against an all-American boy, and there was no doubt who was the heel and who was the face. It would be wrong to say that fans have always cheered for faces and always booed heels, even in the day when many fans believed wrestling was a legitimate sport. In the past, setting wrestlers up as baby faces and heels wasn't rocket science, or rocket appliances if you're Ricky from Trailer Park Boys. But it's changed over time. This changed considerably during the Attitude Era. Vince McMahon himself made it clear that WWF was no longer telling stories of moral absolutes, and there were a lot of shades of gray. Not 50, but close. Over time, these words have come back to bite Vince in the ass that has its own special club, with fans making their likes and dislikes well known. Here are 7 instances where the fans' cheers quickly turned to boos, forcing WWE to turn them heel. The New Day. When The New Day premiered on the November 28, 2014 SmackDown with their big smiles, positive attitudes, and gospel-infused entrance theme, fans couldn't help but wonder if this was some kind of parody being played by Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and Big E. Fans quickly discovered that it wasn't, and the trio's sickening Sweet Sunshine and Happiness act turned off fans in droves. At that point, few people could have predicted that the New Day would become Raw Tag Team Champions, much less achieve a record-setting reign. With fans raining on the New Day parade, WWE turned them heel less than 5 months after their debut. As sometimes happened, the heel turn resulted in New Day tweaking their gimmick just enough to win the fans' respect. Here, the New Day shifted from the gospel theme to an over-the-top power of positivity thinking gimmick, resulting in the fans cheering the New Day even when they wrestled as heels. The New Day's addition of a trombone by Xavier Woods, the incorporation of unicorn horns, and their cereal, Booty-O's, delighted the fans to the point where New Day are reportedly one of WWE's top merchandise sellers. With that in mind, you can bet they're going to be in the spotlight for a long time, for as we all know from the movie Spaceballs, merchandising is the true power of the Schwartz. Alberto Del Rio. Some wrestlers can play the babyface or heel equally well. Guys like Chris Jericho and The Rock have shown this repeatedly, while others like Randy Orton and Alberto Del Rio, not so much. Del Rio plays the cocky heel to perfection, dishing out punishment in the ring and brutalizing opponents in a way that you want to see him get what's coming to him. When WWE decided to turn Del Rio face, things didn't go as planned, even when they pit him against an ultra-nationalistic Jack Swagger. After all, he is the all-American American. Reality set in when a heel Dolph Ziggler cashed in his Money in the Bank contract to beat Del Rio for the World Heavyweight Championship on the April 8th, 2013 Raw, and the fans cheered Ziggler, showing that the fans were less than enthused with a babyface Alberto. After finishing his feud with Swagger, a face Del Rio returned to the ranks of the bad guys, pulling a double turn at 2013's Payback pay-per-view against then-heel Dolph Ziggler. Santino Marella. It might surprise recent WWE fans, but Santino Marella wasn't always the much-adored, goofy babyface who engaged in dance-offs with divas and wrestlers alike. Santino debuted as a fan on the April 16, 2007 episode of Raw in Milan, Italy, with Vince McMahon picking Marella to fight Intercontinental Champion Umaga. Marella scored an unlikely victory thanks to the help of Bobby Lashley, winning the Intercontinental title in what became known as the Milan Miracle. Marella's fluke win and subsequent matches where he retained the title by the skin of his teeth didn't help get him over. When the Samoan Savage regained the Intercontinental Championship from Marella on the July 2, 2007 Raw, Marella had already worn out his welcome. The WWE turned Santino into a comedic heel, and as we all know, the slight change helped Santino establish himself to the character WWE fans actually cared about. Bret Hart. This was a situation where the WWF was partly to blame for the fans booing the once popular excellence of execution. With Stone Cold Steve Austin becoming a rising star and the WWF going away from its traditional face versus heel battles, it became clear that not everyone was rallying behind good guy Bret Hart. Factor in Hart's dissatisfaction with some of the promotion's racy angles, and the WWF had an opportunity to try something very different. Hart began criticizing the United States and the American fans, showing his disgust with America and what he labeled as questionable morals. At the same time, he remained a babyface in Canada, praising his homeland and standing alongside his fans. Randy Orton. Orton was a member of the fantastic class of 2002 that debuted that year, including John Cena, Batista, and Brock Lesnar. Orton got off to a wishy-washy start, but when the WWE put him with Evolution, he quickly got over as the Legend Killer, a young star looking to make a name for himself at the expense of WWE legends. During a nearly 7-month reign as the Intercontinental Champion, Orton would hold the belt from December 14, 2003 to July 11, 2004, the longest reign in 7 years. The Legend Killer set his sights on the hardcore legend Mick Foley, defeating Foley in brutal bouts at 2004's WrestleMania 20 and Backlash pay-per-views. Just 4 months later, Orton defeated Chris Benoit for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam, becoming the youngest world champion in WWE history. When Evolution's leader Triple H demanded Orton relinquish the belt to him, Orton refused, turning babyface. The turn ended up being a bad move as Orton lost the killer instinct that made him so good as a heel. It didn't help that Orton lost the belt to Triple H at the Unforgiven pay-per-view less than a month after winning it. Orton's inability to regain the belt from Hunter in his subsequent matches made him look even weaker, forcing the WWE to turn Orton back to a heel. Orton RKO'd his storyline girlfriend Stacy Keibler on the March 28, 2005 edition of Raw, sending a message to WrestleMania 21 opponent The Undertaker that the Legend Killer was back. Orton's heel turn rejuvenated his career, and he would go on to feud with The Undertaker, Rey Mysterio, John Cena, and Shawn Michaels, eventually winning the World and WWE Championship on multiple occasions. Batista. After ditching the awful gimmick of Deacon Batista, the Reverend Devon Dudley's enforcer, Dave Batista made up for lost time under the guidance of the legendary Nature Boy Ric Flair. As 2003 began, Batista joined Triple H's Evolution stable, working alongside Randy Orton and Ric Flair and quickly climbing the ladder of success. Batista would win the World Tag Team Championship with Evolution stablemate Ric Flair at 2003's Armageddon pay-per-view, a night when all 4 members of Evolution wore championship belts. From 2003 to 2005, Batista helped Triple H hang on to the World Heavyweight Championship, that is, until 2005, when Batista won the Royal Rumble and defeated Triple H for the championship at WrestleMania 21. Over the next 5 years, Batista would remain a main event player until creative differences and a desire to focus on acting led to his 2010 departure. In 2014, Batista returned to the WWE as a babyface, entering that year's Royal Rumble and winning the event. The only problem was that the fans booed Batista after he eliminated the very popular Roman Reigns. In Batista's case, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. The fans liked Batista, but they loved rising stars like Reigns and Daniel Bryan. The WWE Universe wasn't willing to cheer Batista over its new favorites, and they made their displeasure known. Nothing had changed about Batista except the WWE was using him in a role that fans wanted to see filled by Bryan and Reigns. The WWE had no choice but to turn Batista heel, giving him the nickname Bootista, and reunited with Evolution teammates Randy Orton and Triple H to start a feud with The Shield. In June 2014, Batista left the WWE, apparently over creative differences. With Batista doing well for himself in Hollywood, there seems to be no incentive to return to the company. Rocky Maivia. Rocky debuted to much fanfare in 1996, receiving heavy promotion as the WWF's first third-generation superstar and a heavy push to go with it. After winning a victory for his team at 1996's Survivor Series, Maivia's push continued, culminating in him winning the Intercontinental Championship from Triple H on the February 13, 1997 Raw. Rocky's heavy push, combined with his traditional babyface style of smiling and playing to the crowd, just wasn't the right fit for the Attitude Era, and soon, WWF fans chanted "Rocky sucks" and "Die Rocky Die." As things turn out, this proved to be the break Rocky needed as the WWF turned him heel and he adopted the persona of The Rock, a super cocky but very cool heel who fans loved to hear trash talk his opponents. With the Rock character, he got over, becoming one of the greatest superstars in WWE history and parlaying his fame into a successful Hollywood career. Roman Reigns is one candidate to go from being a booed babyface to a cheered heel. What other superstars do you think are good candidates? Be sure to leave your comments and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our videos. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. And as always, thanks for watching.